So the title is a bit, I wouldn't say provocative, but the idea is to say that there is zero issue combining ARM and RISC-V together. So, and we have a fantastic showcase with the European Processor Initiative. So to introduce myself, up to yesterday, I was at Atos, and starting today, so my first day in my new company, I am at Cyper, and at Atos, I was the chair of the board for the European Processor Initiative. So in this very short introduction to what we are doing in EPI, I'm going to focus on the combination between ARM and Cyper, ARM and RISC-V, sorry, in EPI context. So let me move forward. So the overall objective of EPI is to develop a complete European designed high-end microprocessor for supercomputers at first, but not only. We also need to develop products that would also be usable out of HPC, so in edge computing, and to make it quite easy to transition from HPC to edge, we plan to focus on the high-end segment of the edge vertical, which is the edge HPC segment. To make it quite simple, this is the infrastructure edge. So we have to deliver microprocessors for the European exascale machines. You know, the machines are supposed to arrive in Europe, those exascale machines, by 2023. So this is tomorrow. This is in 2 years from now. So no way we can start developing a long-term IP roadmap and then to start developing the ecosystem if we want to be in the field with a microprocessor in 2 years from now, with developments having started back in the past, almost 3 years in the past. So we have a short-term objective, and for that, we need to use IP and development processes with high technical level readiness, TRL. But we also have long-term objectives with the European Processor Initiative. One of the key objectives is sovereignty for Europe. We don't want to see Europe, the European Union, at risk of limitation or embargo by third-party countries or by foreign countries to get access to the most advanced processing units in high-performance computing for low-power microprocessor, from the IP to the product itself. So we need to combine both in API, and this is complex to combine both because we need to address high-level TRL and low-level TRL. So with a high-level TRL, we work with ARM, and with low-level TRL, we work with RISC-V. So let me explain on this chart how it is combined together. So we started back in the past in December 2018, and the program that we have with EPI will stand up to 2024, or it could even be extended up to 2027 or 8. So for the short-term objectives with high TRL, the strategy is to use the best-in-class IP that we could purchase on the market. So this is ARM. On ARM Neoverse V1, in the score has been chosen as the reference score for designing the first European exascale class super processor. It doesn't mean that in Europe the machine will be similar to the Japanese machine, I mean with exclusively CPUs. No, it means that there will be the European processor, maybe in standalone machines, or maybe as a front end for third-party accelerators. That could happen. The first processor will be merged on a common platform, and I'm going to elaborate on this a bit later on, to get a first product that will be manufactured by Cyper at TSMC in Taiwan, and the general availability of the product will happen early 2023 or during the year 2023. And the intention is to get it in the European exascale supercomputers. And then there will be a second generation developed that will combine ARM plus additional European IP for acceleration. That will be in the field with general availability, also by Cyper, by 2024, and that will be manufactured in 5 nanometers at that time. So for very big chip, today using 7 nanometer and tomorrow 5 nanometer is not one step behind what we can see from the market. When you read that Apple, for instance, for the A1 or M1 microprocessor is already manufacturing using 5 nanometer, this is correct, but this is very small chip compared to what we are doing. And in parallel to the short-term development based on ARM, we start developing a European, let's say, portfolio for intellectual property, so for building blocks, with the intention that by 2025 or 6 or a bit later, we start having European general purpose processor based on RISC-V. In the short term, because it's quite easy to design, we will focus on developing an accelerator based on RISC-V. Why an accelerator? Because it's, as I mentioned, easy to design. When I say easy, don't get me wrong, it's not easy, but it's easier than developing a general purpose processor. And that accelerator, code name is EPAC, European Accelerator, intends to be competitive for HPC workloads. So we are currently at the stage where we are validating under the responsibility of BSC and the other companies involved in this activity. We are validating the intellectual property, so the building blocks, on a test chip manufactured in Europe in 22 nanometers. And once it is proven, then there will be additional IPs also tested on the chip with 22 nanometers or a bit better manufacturing process, just to validate the IP. And once it's validated, and we have proven in silicon that the features are okay, the performance per watt is convenient, the performance per square millimeter is convenient, then we can move forward and think about having a real product manufactured with the most advanced manufacturing process. But we need to go through those steps if we want to avoid to waste money and big money if we go straight to the manufacturing process with building blocks that wouldn't be proven before. And we are going to combine, sorry, let me move back. We are going to combine the ARM developments and building blocks with the RISC-V building blocks on the common platform under the responsibility of Cyper. We will see in the common platform that combination in the first generation between ARM plus several building blocks, so let's say tiles, that will be on the RIA1 processor, intending to prove the value of what we are doing with the building blocks. So the concept of common platform is quite simple. You can imagine that this is like a big tile on this big surface. We combine the cores from ARM plus additional cores, either specialized like the MPPA or FPGA or cryptographic accelerators. MPPA is from a French company named Calray, and the MPPA intends to address the needs of automotive industry. And in green on this chart, we are also adding the developments that we are doing in EPI for the European accelerator. And the very interesting aspect of EPAC is it combines several IPs that we will assemble together, where we will have a vector processing unit targeting the FP64 vector computation, plus an STX accelerator, which is a combination of an HPC stencil for classical HPC algorithm, plus a tensor accelerator, so it's a convolution unit. And we have a very innovative IP for a variable precision unit, intending to extend beyond 64 bits dynamically the precision of computation when it is required by the algorithm. And all that EPAC building block is combined on the NoC, on the network on chip, let's say, the network on chip that comes also from ARM, through a bridge that we are developing inside the European Processor Initiative to make the combination efficient, in order the accelerators and the IPs that we have in EPAC could get access to the memory, either HBM, either DDR, and could get access to the I/O subsystem with PCI Express. So all in all, we can see that, returning back, on the REA1 processor, we will get combined together the Zeus core from ARM plus the European accelerator test modules or test chip in green on this diagram. And when we make a count on the number of RISC-V based cores that will be on REA1, we arrive to 29 RISC-V cores on the REA processor from Cyper. And this is a big achievement, considering that will be manufactured in 7 nanometers, and that will occupy some surface, some square millimeters on the processor. So it's not neutral, and it's a very, very concrete evidence that in EPI, we can combine at the industrial level ARM IP plus RISC-V IP to get a smooth combination on a seamless integration between the two instruction sets. So to conclude on this short introduction to what we are doing, with ARM, we fulfill the short-term Euro HPC objectives, and we will get a competitive product that will be available no later than 2023, targeting the European exascale machines. In parallel, in Europe, with EPI and based on ARM instruction set, we relearn how to design high-end microprocessors. That's very important to get the teams to be that will be able to design the long-term strategy and to implement the long-term strategy based on RISC-V. But for that, we need to relearn how to do that. And fortunately, we've made a good decision going with ARM, because we take advantage of ARM momentum in HPC, cloud, and data center to leverage, to build what we are doing on the strong ecosystem coming from ARM. And with RISC-V, we prepare the future. We develop the fundamental IPs that we need for getting sovereignty in before 2030 in Europe. And we prove it works, and it works efficiently with the most advanced manufacturing process that are available when we launch the manufacturing of the microprocessor. So, to make it simple, we are proving on a daily basis with the people, with the members of EPI, with the technology, IP, building blocks, development process, that ARM and RISC-V are very complementary. They address different markets, they address different needs, and they can work very efficiently together. And this is what we are proving with EPI And this is something you will start seeing hopefully soon, when we'll get the first processors available by 2023. So thank you very much.